New tonight, the June primary election is adding up to be one of the most expensive in history. In San Luis Obispo County alone, new records have been set for campaign donations. KSBY News anchor Christina Favuzzi crunched the numbers and looked into how the money is being spent.
More than $1.5 million has been raised in local elections in just the first 4 months of 2018. That's over $1 million more than in the 2014 primary. A good chunk of that money goes to advertising, but the way candidates are reaching voters is changing, and political analysts expect this primary will be one for the history books. As Election Day draws closer, political ads are flooding the airwaves. Challengers attacking the incumbents.
SLO County deserves better.
Incumbents touting their records.
I committed to change in several critical areas.
All that screen time costs big bucks. Cal Poly professor and local political analyst Mike Latner says about 80% of campaign donations go toward paying for advertising, not just on your TV.
We have seen campaigns becoming increasingly creative with using social media to advertise to people who aren't on voter lists, who aren't your typical voters.
Most candidates for SLO County races are on Instagram. Latner says it's a trend to get younger voters to the polls.
My expectation is that we're going to see a much higher turnout than we did in 2014.
Latner says the amount of money at stake and where it's coming from says a lot about our political climate.
There's a lot of anti-incumbent money out there.
Campaign finance reports through the end of April show District Attorney candidate Judge Mike Cummins has raised more than $164,000. That's some $20,000 more than incumbent Dan Dow has in his re-election coffers. Challenger for Sheriff Greg Clayton has raised about half as much as sitting Sheriff Ian Parkinson, but Clayton has received significant donations. Latner says the smaller donations are making a big impact too.
Many of the challengers are raising a lot of money in very small amounts. And what that suggests is that there's a lot of groundwork going on. They're raising money from people who want to see change.
The race for 3rd District Supervisor has the most money in the game. Challenger Jimmy Paulding and incumbent Lynn Compton raked in a combined total of nearly $400,000. The two sheriff candidates brought in over $380,000 together, and the race for DA has more than $300,000 in play. While Latner says more money doesn't necessarily mean you'll win,
what money can buy you is name recognition.
Critically important for challengers and what Latner calls one of the most contentious and expensive campaign years in SLO County's recent history. So what happens to all that money after the election, win or lose? If a campaign has leftover funds after the election, it can either be given to charities, other candidates, a political party, or saved for a future run for office. However, Latner says the goal is never to have leftover campaign money because those funds could have been better used to win the race. Back to you.
And a reminder that today is the deadline to register to vote, and you still have time to do it. If registrations weren't made on or postmarked by today, you won't be able to vote in the June 5th election. You can still register, though, online if you do it before 11:59 p.m. tonight. That link, plus a way to find out if you're already registered, can be found at ksby.com/links. To be eligible to vote, you must be a U.S. citizen, at least 18 years old, and not in prison or on parole for a felony conviction.